Okay, so we've moved on to another one of, I think, the quicker non-foiling boats. So this is V&B. It's sailed by Maxime Sorel, who has spent quite a bit of time in the Class 40, very successful, same sponsor, and now he's moved up to the Vendée. So this boat did 2016 with Tom Arroyant, and he had to pull into New Zealand, didn't he? Because the boat broke quite badly in the Southern Ocean.
Was that the deck, or was it?
I think it was the deck. I think, yeah. It's a really, really nice looking boat. Again, it's a great cockpit. It's got good cover. And actually, the string fest is much better organised there. Look at that. It's interesting that they haven't gone for as many constrictors on here.
And this has got the one of the concepts for the Traveller that sweeps all the way around the deck there. So it can also act as a vang as the sail gets right outboard there. But yeah, it's a nice workspace, this boat. It looks like it'd be nice to sail. Good windows.
I think this will be another one to watch. I think it's, throughout the last 2 years, Maxime's put in good, consistent performance. He's got a good pedigree.
Instead of kick-up foils, it looks like he's got the cassettes down there, and if you take those top lids off there, you could lift the rudders, I would imagine, straight up and replace them, instead of having to jump in the water and pull them out or have the kick-up rudders. So that's one concept. I think that was probably first time I saw it was on Kingfisher.
Okay, so DMG Mori, this is sailed by Kojiro, and it's the sister ship to Sorel.
Yeah, so he's got the Generation 1 foils, whereas Sorel is onto its second generation of foils. You can see how submerged the transom is at standstill there, and instead of having that wide, dead flat bottom there, it's actually got quite a lot of shape in the bottom there. The idea being when these boats are foiling, they're over on one side, and they'll be sitting on just that surface over on the side, and the foil will be lifting the nose, and just the back corner of the boat is dragging through the water and skidding along there. He's got his one of his rudders taken out there. You can see the bearings for it there, kick up rudders. And yeah, Koji dismasted last time when he sailed on the boat opposite over there in the Indian Ocean, and he went around in the round alone on a 40s, the Spirit of Hugo.
Yeah.
This is a big step up. This is taking sailing to a whole new level, getting on one of these boats. But he has a very slick team here with Bilou, Roland Jourdain, amongst others, helping him get this boat prepared, and they look serious.
Okay, so we're moving on to Groupe Setin. So this is Manuel Cousin.
Local boy.
Yeah, and again, this sponsor was supporting Manuel when he was racing in Class 40. So I raced against him in 2015 in the TJV in Class 40. And they've taken him through into the Imoca class. It's his first Vendée, but he has been working at this. He's had this boat for, I think, nearly 4 years. He's consistent, every regatta, he's working hard, he's got a good team.
This boat's started 5 laps. It was built for Jean-Pierre Dick in 2007, the Phare design. It's very clean cockpit, and I think that was one of the early times we saw this full commitment to that tunnel and the ropes running through the middle there. It's once again a fast boat, quite upright foils, very well turned out. Okay, well, wow. Over to you.
Okay, so here we have the most beautiful Medallia. And actually, having done the full dock walk now, getting towards the end, one of the most incredible things is the range in designs. There's 20 years spanning this fleet, and you can see all the different innovations, the different styles, and, notably my boat is pretty simple. There's not much coverage. It's got a tiny cockpit. I have to do everything on deck. I've got no luxury of an indoor grinder. I am going to be pretty wet and cold on this race. But what we do know about this boat is that it's strong. It's going to be its 5th time around the world. Last time with Alan Rohrer. It was designed and built by Bernard Stam, by a mini designer, Pierre Rollands. And for me, only coming into the IMOCA 2 years ago, it's unbelievably simple. And right now, simple is perfect for me. I just need to work a little bit harder.
It does have a host of upgrades. It's got the poles you can see along the back there that fit into these sockets and stick out about here to make the sails think the boat's a lot wider than what it is. It's got a new set of One Design sails on board, which are probably more appropriate for the design and for Pip's style of sailing.
And of course we've got the coffee grinder as
and
well.
We've got the coffee grinder, which is a nice addition, borrowed from an America's Cup boat. And
hydro generators on the back.
Hydro generators. But there, I mean, you look at the difference in coverage of all the boats we've seen there and protection, it's a different class. It's got the least amount of foils on the of any boat here. It's only got this single dagger board in the middle there to go down. And of course the canting keel. Also very unique about this boat is the keel is canted by a series of pulleys and a winch rather than hydraulics. It's a little bit slower, but you are not short tacking up the Solent with this boat. You might be tacking and jibing in time scales of weeks. It is super reliable. It is a system that will get you around every time, as has been shown to be the case.
We love this boat.
Super Bagoo. Okay, where are we up to?
Okay, so my next door neighbour is a bit of a sailing legend, Jean Le Cam. How many Vendées has he done? 5.
5 Vendée Globes.
Wow.
This is another winning boat. This is one of Mish Dez's boat that he won in 2008 as Foncia. So this is another Foncia boat, also with the foils at that inclination to help generate lift. So this is when that started to come out. So no doubt built in his shed up in CDK up there, or Miragiti I should say. Claimed to have the most miles of any boat here, this one. It's a big claim because there's some boats with some big miles here, but that's the claim. And Jean got this together quite late, didn't he? They didn't know whether he was going to make this one or not, and here he is in a boat that will no doubt be very well turned out and very well sailed.
So, from one end of the spectrum to the other, mine to this one. So this obviously is Hugo Boss, sailed by Alex Thomson. And again, there's a lot of chat about this boat. This is one guy who is definitely aiming to win this race.
He came second last time and third in the one before that, so there's only one place on the podium he's interested to hear, and this is a boat all about commitment. And it's a commitment to foiling and going fast. It is also fully committed to going inside. That little hatch at the back there, that's the only access you have to the inside of this boat. He does not plan to spend much time on decks on this boat. He's got some the cameras and all that. We'll be doing most of viewing outside of what's going on. It's a all or nothing concept. The foils, they were out foiling, sailing just the other day, and the foils they have since added. It's got very similar foils to a boat just on the other side we looked at before called Kia, but they have since added fences to the foils down just at the waterline there, and that prevents how much they can retract the foils. But looking at it there, he can still get most of it in because you can see the orange tips sticking out, so it hasn't affected it very greatly there. But once again, a boat, I think in the TJV, he had a terrible start up to the first mark, and then came round and put the hammers down and just shot through the fleet like a dose of salt. So it has showed a lot of performance, had a breakage and had to pull out. I think they had to drop the keel off or something.
They did, yeah.
And limped into the Canaries. Some people say it hasn't had as many miles as they would like. I'm sure that's the case. But yeah, reliability is going to be the thing. I think this boat's going to have performance. It's going to be down to whether it can make it all the way around. good luck, Alex. I think if he wins this, everyone would have to say well earned, well fought.
Okay, so now we're on to Clement Giraud, and there's a lovely story behind this. So originally there were 34 of us lined up. There were 34 places in the Vendée, and 34 of us lined up and entered. And this boat belongs to Eric Mignon, who was sailing under the banner Mont Sans Cedar, a world without AIDS. And Clement originally had a newer boat, and at the start of the TJV, Clement had a fire on board his boat, and the boat was irrecoverable. And the two of them, Eric did the TJV in this boat. He finished just after us, and the two of them sort of shared the boat through all of this year, and eventually Eric gave up his place for Clement in this race and is allowing him to use his boat, and effectively has given him his place, which I think is just a really amazing story.
Fantastic. Yep. Good stuff.
So another sister ship here, Prysmian Group. This is a sister ship to Medallia, Boris Herman.
Sea Explorer.
Another mini sailor, Giancarlo Pedote. He, in my second mini transat, 2013, Giancarlo I think came third in the proto class. And again, this sponsor has come through minis into IMOCAs with him. He's an Italian sailor.
I think this was originally built for Jean-Pierre Dick. And I think he won a TJV. I think, God, how many TJVs has he won? Like 4 or something.
His name comes up a lot, him and Jan Ellis,
yeah. Him and Jan Ellis, the legend. And it's, well presented little boat. A lot of effort there to keep the centre of gravity low with the sunken cockpit up forward and the winches very, very low there. Once again, a nice space to work in. And the one design rig and the generation one of the foilers. And if we move along and you see the comparison here with Isabelle Joschke's MACSF, this is the first generation foilers. These foils here are called the Dali foils in homage to the famous artist Spectacular Moustache. And once again, she's got the foils retracted. When those bits on the deck get pulled right down into the hull, you can see how far down and out those foils would go.
And this is interesting because so Isabelle, obviously the final of the 6 women taking part, and she hasn't had a huge amount of luck, has she? She dismasted on the Route du Rhum in 2018. On the TJV in 2019, they hit a rock just after the start on the first beat. So we don't really know a huge amount about the performance of this boat, or.
Well, I mean, this boat was a bit groundbreaking, I guess, as it came out, because this was Safran 1, which introduced Verdier to the world of IMOCA, Guillaume Verdier, and this was always a very fast boat for Marc Guillemot, and so the foils are certainly an addition to this boat, but it is chopped and changed from its original concept. So how well the foils can be applied to the concepts of this hull, well, it's a mix-up, but I'm sure it'll be a quick boat, and let's see how she goes.
So that's it then. The rousing music is playing in the background, which means that the race village is about to open to the public. And we've given you just a tiny little insight into what it's like here. I'm so sorry that so many people aren't going to see it firsthand. But hopefully, we've given you a little bit of an insight into the fleet, and you can watch the race knowing a tiny bit more about who's out there.
There is so much history here, and there's so much history still to be written in this edition. It's going to be absolutely fascinating to watch. So it's amazing to be here. There's a real buzz. I'm sure many people will pick a few little things out that we missed or should have said.
Or got wrong.
There are 33 boats. It's a fantastic sight.